A biker who waits till old age to change his ride never learns the road. A wise rider chooses his own path. The foolish one just follows the pack. Fool me once on the highway, shame on you. Fool me twice, and you better not cross my lane again. Be careful of riders whose throttle talk is louder than their road actions. Learn from every biker, but follow no one's exhaust. If you want to find truth, ride through the lies first. When you can't read a man's soul, watch the kind of bikers who ride beside him. The day a man finds his true road, he ditches the crutches that held him back all his life. If you want your name respected in the biker world, don't ride where everyone else rides. Listen to every biker's story, but only act on the wisdom of the one who's conquered the miles. Silence is power. It's louder than any engine. A grin under your helmet is the best answer to every problem. If you want respect on the asphalt, 1. Never lie. 2. Never betray your brother. 3. Ride with heart and respect all. Good bikers don't lose people. Others lose good bikers. Your road becomes smoother when you leave the toxic riders behind. Tell no one your next route before you ride it. Trust is earned, not given. Eat with your crew. Trade with strangers. Choose your riding partners before choosing your bike. A man with no destination will always circle back to the same old town. People will start to hate you once they realize they can't control your throttle. They laugh at us because we're different. We laugh because they're all stuck in traffic. If you want to test a rider's loyalty, you make him angry. To lead a pack, learn to lead yourself first. Big journeys are built on small miles every day. A smart biker doesn't claim to know every route. He learns from every mile. The one who betrays your trust on the ride once will do it again. You don't have to ride the whole highway to know it's rough. Bikers don't dodge storms. They ride through and find the road beyond. An angry biker wrecks his own ride faster than anyone else can. Engines can lie, but your actions never will. Great bikers don't race for noise. They create their own rhythm. A real biker sees beauty in every broken road. One of the hardest skills on the road is learning to stay calm when the wind changes. You only fail when you park your bike and quit. Don't argue with fools. They'll drag you off your path and claim they won. Ride early while the world sleeps. Leave behind the cages that hold you back. Train your young riders early. Later ride beside them as brothers. The best revenge for an insult is to throttle forward and smile under your helmet. Once you start a journey, don't stop till you're proud of the road behind you. Don't follow anyone. Ride your own story. No one tells a tale where they're the villain. Enjoy the road, not just the destination. If you want trust, admit when you've taken the wrong turn. Anger burns the rider holding it more than the one it's aimed at. Kindness is the fuel every biker needs, even the toughest one. Stay away from riders who mock your dreams. Small minds belittle, great ones inspire. Every biker has a dark side. Learn to control yours before it controls your ride. When you were born, you cried and the world cheered. Ride your life so that when you die, the world cries and you roar into the next horizon smiling. Inside every biker, 2 engines fight, one of ego and one of purpose. The one you fuel wins. No matter how skilled you are, if you're in the wrong pack, your ride means nothing. Never speak your plans, show them with action. Don't lower your standards just because the ride feels lonely. If they're talking behind your back, remember, you're ahead of them on the road. Don't dwell on the crash behind you. It's done. Don't stress about tomorrow's ride. The sun hasn't risen yet. Live this mile now and make it legendary. You know you've succeeded when others start trying to ride like you. Never judge another biker until you've ridden his road.